In today's video, there's something I wanted us to have a conversation about. If you own a business or if you've done business before, business will teach you lessons. Yeah. And I think that's what entrepreneurs we are out there to experience. One of the biggest lessons I have learned recently came at a very, let's say it was a very expensive lesson, but either way, I think it has taught me something that now I can be able to take forward in my life and in my business. So if you're new here, you may not know that I am a salon owner, much as I am also in full-time employment. Now, with that, you have to delegate a lot and you have to run your business alongside, the support of different people, employees. One of the biggest lessons I have learned, and this is something I read about in a book I have ignored for a while, but finally I experienced it and I realized why it's important. So I had someone who was not delivering on their job for 3 4 months. I had a barber, meant he was supposed to bring in clients and do really good service to customers and deliver very well. However, this was not happening. And instead of really being proactive and making a decision that would be good for the business, I wanted to be patient. I wanted to wait with them. I did the best I could in terms of speaking to them, motivating them, in having activities that can kind of, build their motivation and build their energy and attitude towards work. And I realized that this was challenging and this was not happening the way I wanted it to happen. So eventually I had to let this person go. Yeah, I had to let this person go and I had to bring in someone new who's actually doing a really amazing thing. Now, after making that decision, I realized part of the mistakes that I was also making as the owner of the business. One, I failed to identify the core values and core principles I wanted out of that employee. And the simple things you want in a service industry, or let's say in a hair salon. You want someone who is really good at their job. Let's say if it's a haircut, you want someone who delivers a really good haircut. Someone who is really good with customers. Someone who is clean and organized and takes good care of yourself. Now, all the other things you can kind of work with and build around, but those are the core things you actually need from that person who is doing such a job. However, this person was neither doing either of the activities I mentioned, they were not good at any of them. So it's more like I was being patient with them to grow into the job that they were at. And I think that was a very bad mistake that I made. So instead of making the decision to let them go much earlier, I kept on waiting and waiting. I built my hopes around them that maybe there will be a change. And instead, this affected my business heavily because I was making losses. And also, the clients who I had, I was losing them because I was not delivering the very good service. Yeah. So, one of the things I failed at was to fire when it was time to fire. Okay. And it seems quite cruel. And I think that's where I also had kind of, how can I call it? I had a conflict of interest there, or just a conflict, because I kept on thinking to myself, I don't want to be the reason that someone is out of a job. I don't want to be the reason that someone is now unemployed. But then at the same time, that came at the cost of my business going down because I was feeling sorry more for people than I was thinking about the business. So that taught me to now think about the business in a very strategic manner. Not only thinking about, yes, I want to be kind and compassionate to people, but how do people's values and how does the service they provide, how does that fall in line with the goals I have for my business? Now, when it comes to firing, it's not really personal. It's not really personal, but it's really business, and you really have to separate the two. So I want to speak to someone today who is kind of having a conflict, you're thinking about what step to make for your business, depending on whatever challenges you have with the people you're working with. Think through: are they really showing up? Are they really doing exactly what is needed to elevate your business? Or are they just doing the bare minimum that you can just handle and you're just waiting? Because if you set up a business, you actually set it up for a purpose, you want it to be successful and you want it to prosper. So if you're kind of in the middle there, learn from my lesson and don't make the same mistake again. Now, after making that dreadful mistake, how am I actually moving forward and how am I making things better for my business? One of the things I have learned is now I have shaped my core values really well and I have shaped that for the position that I want to hire. So, for instance, if I want to hire Baba, I know exactly what I want to hire them for. the qualities I'm looking for in a person. I'm not just going to hire anybody because sometimes you're in a hurry, the position is empty, you want to fill it, and that's what happened to me prior. The position was quite empty, and we needed someone as quick as possible. But you see where it led us? So instead, when the hiring process, it needs to be much slower because you need to take time and vet whatever people, whatever candidates you've been able to get, ask around for people to recommend some really good people for you so that you make sure you get the best candidate. If you're not aware of what your business needs in terms of the position, inquire from other businesses. What type of personnel are they hiring? Because you look at maybe your friends and your colleagues, and they have like really good personnel who are delivering such like amazing work. Try to find out what's the criteria they're using for hiring. What are some of the like the specific, let's say, characteristics they're looking from that person? Are they looking from someone who is just good in terms of skill, or are they also looking in terms of like personality? Maybe they're looking for a vibrant person because maybe the business requires like to have a lot of interaction with customers, and you need someone who is bubbly and energetic. You don't want someone who is really moody. So you have to ask yourself so many questions. So the key lesson that I've learned from business so far is hire slow and fire fast. And don't forget that it's not really personal, but it's just business. I hope this one tip really helped you. Just think about how you want to go forward in your business and how you want to handle things with the people who work for you or work with you. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope I see you in the next video. Until next time, bye.